Good morning, everyone. It is time for First Alert Weather Extra. I do apologize that a little bit delayed today, but nonetheless, 15 minutes late doesn't mean anything has changed. So First Alert Weather Extra, we got a lot to cover from a powerful system across the Midwest that's going to be heading in our direction for tomorrow. And by the way, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Jill Gilardi, if you don't already know. And here's a look at what we've been tracking for today. It's really all about the cold weather, right? It's feeling chilly out there. Normally, we should be at 34 for a low, 54 for a high. We are colder at this time than we were 24 hours ago. We're tracking a feel in the 20s pretty much everywhere. So enough of a breeze to make it feel colder. The actual air temperature, we started off below normal, and we're still below that at 32 degrees Windsor Locks, 35, well, 36, the warm spot in Chester as well as Meriden. And as we take a look at the forecast for today, you're going out for a little walk, we definitely need to bundle up. Maybe not as thick of a coat this afternoon, but it's still going to be much colder than we were, 24 hours ago, especially the shoreline because the wind's going to be off the water. So you were about 10 degrees warmer yesterday, and clouds will start to thicken up later in the day. Now, inland locations, temperatures will reach the mid and upper 40s generally. So it's falling short of that normal high of 54 degrees. But all in all, not a bad day, just a little bit chillier than where we should be. Now, as we settle into this evening, we're going to be tracking a warm front lifting through. What that will do is cause our winds to, stay out of the south, but it's going to bring in eventually some warmer air. First, aloft. What does that mean? Well, it's going to cause some clouds to develop and eventually some showers. And depending on how cold it is at the surface and the column of air from those clouds down, you could see not only a rain shower, but also some sleet or brief snowflakes. A better chance for that, of course, farther inland, farther to the north. The time frame for this is like 7 to 10. That's it. See, it's like a little blip, no issues, but didn't want you to be shocked if you do happen to see anything wintry briefly falling. But nonetheless, we're going to be heading into a warmer pattern for the next couple of days. A big story going on. Whenever you have that snow across the West, California, you get a powerful system. It's windy out there. If you're one that's been watching the Eagles, yeah, you can always tell that there's some crazy weather happening when it gets windy for them and they get the snow. But we are tracking across the Midwest tornadoes, the threat today. So we have a couple of watch boxes already. There's been tornadoes reported this morning in Oklahoma. So all of this is going to be moving eastward. But at first, of course, it's the warm front. So you get that overrunning setup where you can get some, precipitation types that is briefly wintry. Our thoughts and prayers are with those today. They're going to be heavily impacted by these storms. There is a rare high risk that has been issued for parts of southeastern Missouri, where you see that brighter pink. That's a level 5, and so that is at the top of the scale. But even where it's a level 3 or 4, again, we're thinking of folks well back to our west. Now, as we get into tomorrow, the system will be weakening, but still could have a couple of strong or severe thunderstorms connected with it. And notice that part of southwestern, especially Connecticut, is included in that marginal risk. That's level 1 out of 5. So there could be a strong wind or hail producing storm tomorrow. But tomorrow evening/night, because that's when the front really is going to get here. So most of the day is just showery activity, and then we'll have that cold front moving in, and we'll be watching those storms kind of riding along the front across Pennsylvania, and we'll see if they make it here to Connecticut. So anytime after about 8 o'clock through about 11 o'clock at night, we'll have to monitor those storms. It's not a big threat, but nonetheless, it's a non-zero threat either. So we'll watch for that front sparking some strong storms and getting close to our state. So here's how tomorrow will unfold. We'll start off kind of showery in the morning, and then we'll climb into the 60s later in the day, some fog, and we'll wait and see if those isolated storms manage to develop and move in. So warmer inland with highs in the 60s, a little lower, but definitely milder than it is out there today, with some fog developing tomorrow afternoon and evening, and temperatures rising into the mid-50s, but showers look to greet us during the morning hours tomorrow. The 6 to 10-day precipitation outlook, equal chances, and same goes for 8 to 14. 14. The temperature outlook still leaning in a colder than normal direction, a slight lean in that direction beyond the 7-day. And again, normal lows and highs, you can go slightly above that, doesn't mean, or slightly below that, doesn't mean it's going to be something too extreme. Though today is certainly the coldest day of the next 7. Well, it might be tied for that. And once upon a time, it was the coldest day of the next 7. Now that I really focus on the 7-day, I do realize we have 48 for the high Tuesday. So 3 days with colder than normal temperatures. So today, Saturday with showers likely now. And then again on Tuesday, we'll be monitoring any isolated storm tomorrow evening. Otherwise, it's showers to start. High of 65, 50 to start Friday, so milder, 64 for the high. And then, chilly rain on Saturday. Showers, well, there's a chance for them, but it doesn't look like a washout by any means on Sunday. That's good news for the Cherry Blossom Festival in New Haven. And then 61 for the high, a little lower, but seasonable for Monday, and then back down into the 40s for highs by Tuesday. All right, that's inland. Let's take a look at the shoreline. Milder conditions in just 24 hours from now. So a couple of milder days mixed in there with some cooler days as well. All right, that's a look at your later version of First Alert Weather Extra. I hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll keep you posted on that isolated risk for a strong or severe thunderstorm tomorrow evening. And of course, any of that wintry shower activity that will be impacting us this evening coming up at 9:30 on First Alert Weather Extra tonight. So hope you can tune in then, especially if you're curious about all that stuff. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day.